everybody. This is Shivani How. It's really lovely to see you. The sun has finally come out here. I'm very excited. It's been very cold here the last week, and it's interesting that from this new moon that we've just had to the full moon on the 27th of February, that we've had this like crazy cold snap that's come through. And everything that we're experiencing right now, from the outside weather being so cold up here in the northern hemisphere, to Mercury being in retrograde from the 30th of January until the 20th of February, is asking us to go inside. And for some people that's really comfortable, and so for some people that's really not comfortable. And what I find that's really interesting about that is that when we let the outside world kind of be this simple, let it be simple, and take the time to go inside, we can really feel where our discomforts are, and then it becomes this really courageous act of love to self, to acknowledge those discomforts and acknowledge what doesn't feel quite right, and allow ourselves to be okay with that, and to listen to that, to see what it's trying to tell us. So when we've got this full moon coming up on the 27th of February, between the new moon on the 11th, I believe it was, to the 27th, it's this real time of this like this push me pull you that's happening. And what I'm finding is that it's just this incredible time to orientate, not just internally orientate as opposed to the outside, but to also orientate what we're moving away from and what we're moving towards. Now, to the outside world, to the outside, often our actions of what we're moving away from and what we're moving towards look exactly the same. But when you are moving away from something, your orientation and your energy is still to that something. So for example, if you're moving away from eating sugar, right? You want to move away from eating so much sugar. The sankalpa is to move away from eating the sugar. So eating the sugar is still in the psyche. And because the sugar is still in the psyche, that's ultimately what you're going to circle around back to in the dualism, because you're wanting to move away from it. But when you want to move away from something, if you're still focused on the thing you're moving away from, you're just going to go in one big circle to it again. And what you really want to be doing is moving towards healthier snacks, right? So like broccoli and hummus, or edamame, or like whatever, doesn't matter. So instead of moving away from sugar, you're moving towards healthier snacks. You're moving towards, for example, you're moving away from smoking. You're moving towards being able to go for a 3-day hike, right? So it's, instead of it not being about being not smoking, you want to be about moving towards your 3-day hike, knowing that to do a 3-day hike of that intensity, you're not going to be able to smoke. Do you get what I mean? And I find that the reason that this sort of reorientation to what we're moving away from and what we're moving towards in a very internal way right now with Mercury being in retrograde is because of the north nodes and the south nodes. The north node right now is in Gemini. And of course, Gemini is ruled by Mercury, or Mercury is ruled by Gemini, whichever one. And so Gemini and Mercury is all about communication, and simple communication, clear communication, relatable communication, right? And right now Mercury is in Aquarius, and Aquarius is the people. It's the collective consciousness, okay? So we're really moving from this Manipura third dimension lower mind into an Anahat foundation of higher mind. And so a lot of people, between COVID with the lungs, and a lot of people are having digestive stuff, which of course is Mars in Taurus, right? And Uranus in Taurus, and Lilith in Taurus. So we've got this foundation of food that's being reorientated within our bodies. And we have this moving towards having a foundation of the heart. So going back to North and South nodes, the North node is in Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury, and that is in Aquarius. And of course, the South node is in Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter, which is also in Aquarius right now. So you've got Jupiter, Mercury, and Saturn, all in Aquarius, very close to each other. So you've got what your Saturn is, what you're the teacher, what you're wanting to move away from. Jupiter is the optimist, which is what you're wanting to move towards. And then you've got Mercury in the middle, which is trying to communicate and express this transformation. So with the North node being in Gemini, we know that we're wanting to move towards simplicity, right? You've got to kiss it. You've got to keep it simple, sweetheart. So we really want to move towards simple communication. And simplicity does not mean superficial. It means, I think it was don't quote me on this, but I think it was like an Einstein quote that said, if to really understand a topic, you have to be able to speak about it simply. And so in the simplicity of communication with Mercury and Gemini, and wanting to move into that, it really, to me, speaks that there needs to be a deep understanding and a deep mastery of what we're trying to communicate about. And for that to happen, we have to have done the work. So there's other planets, there's other things that are happening, but to me, the real crux of where we are right now, with this new moon on the 11th of February to the 20th of February, to the 27th of February, when the full moon is, with Mercury going direct on the 20th. This space between the 20th of February and the 27th, when Mercury is going direct, is going to really express itself into what have we achieved? What transformations have we achieved in this incubation period that we've been going through in the last 2 weeks? I have read in some forums that this 2-week period is considered one of the most crucial in this year. That the planetary alignments, what happens in this 2 weeks, is really setting the foundation. And that, from a chakra perspective, really makes a lot of sense, especially with Saturn and Gemini and Jupiter all being in Aquarius, that we're really looking to reorientate. This is, to me, what it's really about. It's actually reorientating from a third dimensional paradigm into a fifth dimensional paradigm. But a fifth dimensional paradigm is not, does not negate the third dimension. It means that the third dimension has been mastered, and that allows the consciousness to expand into a fifth dimensional paradigm. So it's not like we're leaving the third dimension and we're moving into the fifth dimension. No, it's not like that. It's that the third dimension has been understood, has been mastered, and has been integrated at such a high level that the other dimensions are able, the expansion of awareness, of consciousness, is able to start becoming a daily foundation. And this is, to me, this is the work of the yogi. So this is it. This is our time. This is what we've been doing. So Mercury in retrograde, keep going inside. We've got till the 20th of February to go inside and really, really figure out where we are and where we need to make the work to integrate, to digest, to recalibrate to a new foundation, which is what we're using this Mars and Uranus and Taurus with Lilith right now. And then look at the simplicity and the complications, and keep orientating to simple. Keep orientating to simple food, to simple activities, to simple purchases, to simple clothing, to simple actions, to simple joy. Watch a bird, you know? Watch the sunrise. Come back into the simplicity of nature, because in the simplicity of nature, there's an entire calibration that happens, which of course is yoga ecology, which we cannot come into a new paradigm until our relationship with Mama Earth is reorientated. So I think there was a lot in there. I hope that that's helpful. Go inside, reorientate, figure out what you're moving away from, what you're moving towards, and reorientate, putting your energy into what you're moving towards. And the shadows will fall behind you, right? Face the light, the shadow will fall behind you. And in that, then we're going to be able to see this push me, pull you of letting go of the past and coming into the future, and communicating the experience, and all of that on the collective consciousness is actually, I feel, going to have the potential to find this balance point between the two. And in this balance point between the two, of course, is yoga, right? When we're not swinging, right? In the dualism, that we have this point of peace, and this point of love, and this point of the interconnection, the understanding of the facets of the diamond of the divine. That is what we need to orientate to. But we will experience it. And in that experience, we'll be able to create a world around it. So, Naman Narayan, I hope that this is helpful. And we will talk to you again soon.